Mr. Transformers 96er in the video, and I'm going to be talking about some newly shown items from Hasbro PulseCon. So this was day one of Hasbro Pulse's convention there, the kind of online convention in lieu of San Diego Comic-Con type thing. And they did many panels, but one of the biggest panels, the one that I was most interested in for today, was the Black Series and was Star Wars. So we've got some new figures shown, which is very cool. So I'm going to be talking about these figures. I am also making a separate video for their HasLab project that they announced and put up, which is the Rancor. But in this video, just talking about the Black Series Mandalorian figures. To be honest, they didn't show a ton of Black Series figures, much less than I expected. And yeah, the other Black Series figures that they showed were just the ones that we had seen a long time ago for the convention, like the exclusives. And then they also showed some new 4-packs for Galaxy's Edge, but those are just basically all repacks. So these are the only things new that were shown. I think that what was shown, at least for Star Wars, specifically the Black Series, is incredibly disappointing. I am super disappointed. Before I get into these, in detail and go over each of them, just how I feel about what was shown in general, I've been waiting, I think, with every and all other Star Wars fans, for some Season 2 Black Series figures from The Mandalorian. The show finished almost a full year ago. It's just mind-boggling to me that they're finally getting around to some Season 2 characters, and these are the ones they pick? What? Like The Mandalorian, whatever, that's just an easy repack, so I understand why they did it. But when it comes to these other characters, Boba Fett in this look, I'm fine with that, and I even understand why maybe they do this and not show the real Boba Fett figure, because, they don't want to, cut their amount of pre-orders. Maybe if they showed, an actual armored Boba Fett, people would go for that one instead of this one where they want to get you for both. So I guess I get that. But when it comes to these middle characters, these are fine characters for them to do in the Black Series eventually. But it just, again, boggles me that they would design and develop and put the time in these two characters rather than Ahsoka, the Dark Troopers, Luke, or Boba Fett, like the actual armored Boba Fett, in either of his different versions. So it's crazy how long it's taken to get these, and it's just, I think it's ridiculous that the best characters from the Black Series, from Season 2, haven't been even announced or shown or anything yet, let alone come out, because it's been so long too. So overall, I'm pretty darn disappointed with what was shown today. But enough of how I feel about just what was shown in general. Let's actually go over the figures. So starting off with, this is the one that's mainly a repaint, although there's another one that's mainly a repaint here. But we've got the Mandalorian and Grogu, but specifically from Episode 2 of Season 2, where they go to that snowy planet and are attacked by those spider things. That's an episode that I think a lot of people, I don't know about dislike, but they consider it a real lull in the season. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very cool episode and had a unique kind of almost horror aspect that you don't see in Star Wars much. This pack, though, comes on the back of all these other deluxe Target exclusive packs that they've been doing with the same character. So they do these packs where it's the Mandalorian and Grogu, and it's just different styles. So they did the original one that was just deluxe, where it just came with a lot of accessories, including the pod for Baby Yoda. And then, or Grogu, sorry. Then the most recent one that they did was from Episode 2 of Season 1, where they're on that planet with the Jawas, and they're covered in mud, so they did like a mud deluxe pack. And now we've got a snow deluxe pack. So of all the packs, this is actually the one that intrigues me the most, and it's the one that I have actually pre-ordered from what was shown today. So essentially, you've got the Mandalorian himself. It's the same figure repainted. They mentioned something about doing a new a thigh piece, so I think that they did maybe redesign a small portion to make it more accurate, something that was inaccurate before. They briefly mentioned it. I didn't quite know specifically what they were saying. Also, the way they presented the figures I thought was a little poor. I like the way that the Marvel Legends does their live stream. I think that being able to get good detailed photos where they can specifically talk about things in the photos helps, rather than them just putting it on the desk but not even like pointing to anything. They just put them on the desk and like we look at it on the desk. It was weird. Anyway though, the overall the Mandalorian's basically the same. So if you have the other Mandalorians, basically the same thing except for the paint. This has a snow effect paint, and it also is a very shiny paint job. It looks shinier than just the standard version of the Beskar armor. So I'm hoping that it's not just these photos. I hope that it actually does have a real shine to it in person. But I love the snow effects, and you can see in some of the pictures here. There we go. So you can see the snow effects, and it's not just in certain places, or it's not just like only in the upper half or something like that. It's throughout, it's from the legs up, which is awesome, and even on the helmet, pretty substantial on the helmet actually, which I think is very cool. That snow effect does go to little Grogu himself, and he's standing in a little snow environment with one of the eggs that obviously the spider creatures hatch from, and you get a little spider creature with it. They're a little creepy. I don't like necessarily need that in toy form. But nonetheless, it's a fun addition, and they didn't talk about it specifically, but from what I think they said, and from what I see in the photos here, I believe that all of the legs are articulated. It looks like there's just one piece of articulation per leg, though, but it's a ball joint at the very base of each leg. So it's neat. I actually like this pack just in general, as far as like those deluxe packs. I think this one's cool. So, and again, I have pre-ordered it. I'm not 100% sure if I'm definitely going to get it, though. I might end up canceling it before it's released, just because it's such a, it's just it's a repaint, but not even like a super substantial repaint at that. But I think it's a neat pack. Going over the individual ones shown. Moving up here, we'll start with the one that I'm most interested in. We've got Boba Fett. This is obviously in his look before he gets back the armor and dons the armor again. This is a substantial figure, though. I think that there's a lot going on here. Starting off with the face sculpt. The physical sculpt itself, I think looks good. The paint, I'm not super happy with. The more I look at it, the more I kind of see this, but I was wanting, when it comes to like skin tone, something a little bit lighter, because if you notice, and especially if you look at like the hot toy representation of this, he looks like he's dry, and you can like almost see like a whitish like tint to him because of that, and I think I see maybe some spots like that, so they might be replicating it, but it is quite hard to see, it looks like. He's got a scar, facial expression is pretty good, a little bit too much of red around the eyes, a little bit of that's nice, but I think that they might have went a little overboard. Overall, though, pretty decent head sculpt. The cloak piece, obviously being cloth, big fan of that, but then the actual figure himself, the body of it, is 100% new sculpted, of course. Lots of bulky pieces as well. He comes with his Tusken Raider weapons, which is awesome. There's just a lot going on here. So overall, I really like the look of this figure, as well as, I really like the scene when he, dons this and destroys the stormtroopers. So this will be a lot of fun to recreate, and overall, quite excited for this figure. Unfortunately, it's like one of the ones that didn't go on pre-order today. They stated that it would be at a further date, but didn't say when. Moving off here to Mayfield, Mayfeld. This is a figure that is mainly just a repaint. So the armor portion is a repaint, they stated, but they stated that obviously it has a newly designed head because you got to have his head sculpt and then the helmet that goes over it, rather than just having the helmet sculpted as the head. Overall, it looks nice. I like the kind of dirty wear of it. I think it looks pretty good. Face sculpt, I think, is okay. I don't think it's fantastic. I think the expression is a little dull. I would have liked something a little bit different than that. He almost looks confused, in my opinion, at least. I think it's because like they have like one eyebrow kind of cocked, so I don't know if they were going for like a smirky attitude, but they had the mouth completely static. So like if you're gonna cock an eyebrow for like a smirk, you gotta have a bit of a smirk, but they didn't, so I'm not quite sure what they were going for expression wise. Overall though, your standard kind of trooper design looks nice though. I do like it. I don't get me wrong, when I opened up with the fact that I was disappointed with what was shown, I'm not stating that the figures are bad. I'm stating that the figure choices are super frustrating. All right, and then moving on to Cobb Vanth here. This is, again, same thing. It's a character that is fun to get, but not one that I would have... I want, like, the actual characters that we all want, and then go with these guys. But overall, his head sculpt, I think, looks great. I think it's the best of the bunch. I think it's a really solid sculpt, and I like the facial hair, the top hair. I think it's done quite nicely. Overall, the costume and the figure himself, new sculpt as well. Paint looks good, especially on the Boba Fett armor pieces. They look really worn. It gives us a little tease for maybe what we can expect for the Boba Fett figure when it comes out in 6 years. But nonetheless, I like the texturing within the costume here too. I think it looks good. And he is a deluxe figure, which I find annoying. I don't really see what's deluxe about him. You know, the jetpack, maybe? Like, I don't know. This seems like... I don't even remember him with this rifle, but assuming he has the rifle, like, maybe take out one of these guns, and this would easily be a standard figure. It doesn't look like it comes with enough to warrant it being a deluxe. So I find that kind of frustrating. This is one that I would purchase, just as a regular figure, but I'm not super into it, but I would get it. But since it's a deluxe, I think I'm going to pass on this one unless there's a good sale. I'll basically do what I did with Jar Jar. Jar Jar at least came with enough to warrant a deluxe, plus he's a tall character. This one doesn't, in my opinion. I don't think it comes with enough. So that's a little disappointing. And yeah, the pictures though look good. They got him kind of lengthy, and I think that's important because Boba has some bulk, not even just in the Mandalorian, but in The Empire Strikes Back, he's a little bit bulkier than this, while this character was very skinny, and I think that's a good way to differentiate them. Obviously, they're not wearing the exact same thing, but to even just have a stature that's different is really important, I think, when you have characters wearing kind of similar costumes. Overall, looking like a nice figure, though. Very much does. So overall, the Black Series figures from The Mandalorian that were shown, again, I find their character selection disappointing. We have one repaint. We have 2 new characters that are very small, that have very small roles within the season. And then we have one character that we all want, but not the version that we all want. So it's a disappointing lineup. And I was really expecting to actually, like, I had almost no doubt in my mind that Ahsoka and a Death Trooper would definitely be shown along with a Boba. So it shocks me when just these were shown. Just the amount of figures shown I thought was quite small for, like, this is Hasbro's convention. This isn't even just like some little live stream that they're doing for Star Wars like they do every now and then. This is Hasbro's big old convention that they're advertising, they're going nuts for, they're launching an app for it, the whole bit, and you show us a handful, like not even a full wave of like Black Series figures, and then some exclusive just repacks of others. Like, I don't know, I think that what was shown was very disappointing. But stay tuned for my thoughts on the Hasbro Pulse HasLab figure that was shown, and that it's fully launched, the Rancor. I'll be doing that, and then I'll also be covering Marvel Legends tomorrow when they do their panel in the last day of this Hasbro Pulse Comic-Con. So let me know what you guys think of these Black Series figures, and thanks so much for watching.